You study English every day, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. Why does that happen? You've watched the videos, you've written the notes, you've memorized the words. Yet when someone says, "So, how are you?" you freeze. Hey everyone, I'm Robert, and welcome back to Daily English Insights. Today I want to talk about something that every learner faces: the big gap between studying English and living in English. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was coaching a student named Daniel. He studied English for years: grammar books, vocabulary lists, online lessons. Every morning he woke up early, reviewed flashcards, and filled notebooks with new phrases. On paper, he looked fluent. But when he met a foreign colleague for coffee, everything disappeared. He told me later, "Robert, I knew what to say in my head, but my mouth wouldn't listen. That sentence hit me hard. My mouth wouldn't listen." That's the moment most learners reach. They know the rules, but can't use them in real life. Let's look at what's really happening. Daniel had study habits, not speaking habits. He was feeding his brain but not training his voice. It's like learning all the rules of swimming while standing on land. You understand how it works, but when you jump in the water, everything changes. Now, here's the contrast that changes everything. The wrong mindset. If I learn more grammar, I'll finally be fluent. The right mindset. If I speak more often, even imperfectly, fluency will grow. Fluency isn't about what you know. It's about how easily your words flow when life happens in English. Think about this. You don't need 10,000 words to speak well. You need the right habits to make those words automatic. And that's where most learners get stuck. They keep trying to learn more instead of learning better. Let's imagine two students. Student A studies grammar rules for 1 hour every night. Student B listens to a 10-minute English podcast every morning and shadows one sentence out loud. 1 year later, who speaks more confidently? Student B, every time. Why? Because English lives in sound, not on paper. When you listen, repeat, and shadow real English, you're training your ear and your mouth to work together. You're learning rhythm, emotion, and confidence, things a textbook can't teach. So let me ask you, when was the last time you spoke English out loud? Not just read or listened silently? Here's the truth most learners avoid. Fluency is not a skill you study. It's a habit you live. Let's take another example, this time from real life. Imagine you're on your way to work. You open a podcast, maybe something like 6-Minute English or Daily Easy English. You plug in your earphones and listen. At first you don't understand everything. You feel frustrated, but you keep going. You repeat a few lines. You copy the tone. You shadow the speaker. After a week, something changes. You start hearing phrases in your mind during the day. You know what I mean? Sigh. Actually, that's a good point. You start thinking in English without translating. That's when you move from knowing English to living in it. But here's where most people make the mistake. They treat English like a school subject, not like a lifestyle. Wrong approach. I'll study English 3 times a week when I have time. Right approach. I'll bring English into my daily routine, just like brushing my teeth. It's not about big study sessions. It's about small, consistent habits that build your confidence automatically. You see, Daniel eventually changed his method. He stopped forcing grammar and started listening to short English podcasts every morning. He shadowed one sentence a day, just one. He repeated it until it sounded natural. After a month, he sent me a voice message. His rhythm was smoother, his tone was warmer, and his confidence completely different. He said, "I finally sound like I belong in English." That's the moment every learner dreams of. So here's the lesson. Fluency doesn't come from long hours. It comes from living English daily. Don't wait until you're ready to speak. Speaking is what makes you ready. Don't wait until you understand every word. Listening is how understanding grows. Don't wait until you have perfect grammar. Confidence starts long before perfection. When you listen to a podcast, you're not just learning words, you're absorbing rhythm. When you shadow, you're not just copying, you're building confidence. Let me give you a simple phrase to remember. Fluency lives in your habits. Every small action. Listening for 5 minutes. Repeating one sentence, writing one phrase, plants a seed. Over time, those seeds grow into natural fluency. And if you ever feel frustrated, remember this. Even native speakers build fluency through habits. They listen, they repeat, they imitate. You're not behind. You're just one good habit away from progress. So next time you sit down to study English, pause for a second and ask yourself, am I learning about English or am I living it? If you want your English to flow naturally, like a song you can't forget, start listening daily. Start speaking daily, even for 5 minutes, even if no one's listening, because fluency isn't built in silence, it's built in sound. And the best part? You can start today, right now, with a podcast in your ears and your voice following the rhythm. Let's build the habits that make English flow naturally, not from your books, but from your life. Now that you know fluency comes from habits, not magic, let's build the ones that truly transform how you speak. These are 5 simple, powerful habits that can make English feel natural, faster than you think. You don't need hours of study. You just need consistency. Each habit is short, practical, and easy to start today. Let's begin. Habit 1. The 10-minute podcast rule. Here's your first rule. Listen to 10 minutes of English every day. That's it. 10 minutes. You might be thinking, only 10 minutes? That can't change much. But it can, if you do it the right way. See, most learners listen to English trying to understand every single word. When they don't, they feel lost. But fluent speakers don't focus on every word. They focus on the feeling, the tone, the rhythm. Let me tell you about Amina, one of my students from Egypt. She listened to English podcasts for months, but felt like she wasn't improving. One day I told her, stop translating. Just catch the feeling. She tried again, this time listening to the English We Speak podcast. When she heard a phrase she didn't know, she didn't pause or panic. She just said, I didn't get every word, but I caught the feeling. That sentence changed her life. After a week, she noticed she could follow conversations more easily, not because she learned more words, but because her ears learned the rhythm of real English. Here's your shadowing tip. Choose a short podcast. Play one sentence. Repeat it 3 times. Don't worry about translation. Focus on flow. For example, here's the thing. Learning takes time. Repeat it 3 times. Slow, natural, confident. You're not studying grammar. You're training your sound memory. Listening daily is like watering a plant. You don't see results overnight, but something powerful grows inside you. Habit 2. The repeat out loud method. Most learners listen silently. They think listening is enough. But if your goal is to speak, silence is your enemy. So here's the secret. Don't just listen. Speak with the speaker. When you repeat out loud, you copy real pronunciation, rhythm, and energy. You're not a student anymore. You're a performer. Try this. Pick a short podcast clip, maybe from BBC Learning English or All Ears English. As the speaker talks, follow along. Don't whisper. Speak with them, word for word. Let's use some common podcast phrases. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. Actually, that's a good point. Repeat each one 3 times. Feel the emotion behind it. The first time you copy the sound. The second time you copy the rhythm. The third time you make it yours. Now let's use contrast framing. Wrong approach. Passive listening. Quietly thinking. I understand this podcast. Right approach. Active speaking. Speaking aloud. I understand and I sound like the podcast. See the difference? The second one builds real speaking muscles. If you can train yourself to speak while listening, your fluency will double because your brain and mouth are working together. Habit 3. The one phrase a day. Notebook now. Let's make your learning more personal. Every day, write down one useful English phrase, just one, and use it that day. This is your one phrase a day notebook. It's small, but it's powerful. Instead of collecting random words, you collect real expressions that people actually use. Here are some examples to start with. It depends. That makes sense. I totally agree. I'm not sure, but maybe. You never know. Now shadow them. Repeat each 3 times, naturally. It depends. Pause. That makes sense. Pause. I totally agree. Then practice them in a short dialogue. You. Do you think it'll rain tomorrow? Friend. Maybe. You. Yeah. It depends. Simple, real, natural. This is how native speakers talk. Short, honest, clear. Now, contrast this with what many learners do. Robotic version. I think it is possible that there will be precipitation tomorrow. Natural version. It might rain. It depends. See? Fluency isn't about sounding smart. It's about sounding real. And when you practice one phrase a day, your English grows like a living tree, one branch at a time. Habit 4. Think in English moments. Here's where fluency becomes part of your mind. Many learners say, I can't think fast in English. But that's because they only use English in lessons, not in their thoughts. So here's your next habit. Create English moments in your day. It can be just 1 minute at a time. Talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing, what you feel, what you see. For example, okay, now I'm making coffee. It smells so good. It's a sunny day. I feel lazy but happy. I forgot my keys again. It sounds simple, but it's magic. When you think in English, your brain starts to connect ideas without translation. You stop thinking from your language, you start thinking in English. Let's compare. Wrong way. Native word. Translate. Speak. Panic. Right way. Idea. English words. Flow. That's fluency. One of my students, Maria, used to spend hours studying, but she always froze in conversation. When she started narrating her day in English, even just brushing her teeth, her speech became faster and freer. She said, I stopped waiting for English class. I started living it. That's exactly what I want for you. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You just need a few English moments every day, while walking, cleaning, or cooking. Because fluency doesn't grow in your notebook. It grows in your day. Habit 5. Record and reflect. And finally, the most powerful habit of all. Record your voice 2 or 3 times a week. Most learners hate this idea. I can't stand my voice, they say. But your voice is your progress. Recording is how you see yourself getting better. Here's how to do it. Pick a short topic. Maybe my weekend, my favorite food, or what I learned today. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute. then listen back. Don't judge. Observe. Notice your rhythm, your tone, your speed. Smile at what sounds good. Improve what doesn't. Use simple self-feedback phrases. That sounded better. I like that sentence. Next time, I'll speak slower. When you listen to yourself, you turn speaking from fear into feedback. Compare this mindset. Wrong version. I hate my voice. I sound bad. Right version. I sound better than last time. And next time, I'll sound even better. That's the confidence loop. Practice, reflect, grow. Even native speakers improve this way. Musicians record themselves to hear progress. Actors watch their performances. You can too. Recording is your mirror, not your judge. And after a few weeks, you'll notice something incredible. You sound more natural. Your pauses feel smoother. Your confidence is louder. Now, let's bring it all together. These 5 habits: listening, repeating, writing, thinking, and recording might look small, but they are life-changing when done daily. You don't need 3-hour study sessions. You need 10 focused minutes that you repeat consistently. Because fluency grows quietly, not quickly. It grows in small daily moments. While you walk, while you listen, while you smile at your own progress. So from now on, don't ask, how much English did I learn today? Ask, how many moments did I live in English today? That's the real question that builds confidence. And fluency for life. You don't need more lessons. You need more moments with English. Now let's see how to keep those moments alive with motivation that lasts. Fluency isn't a dream, it's a rhythm. And it starts with one small habit today. When you repeat, when you shadow, when you show up, even for 10 minutes, you're building something stronger than words. You're building identity, because you're not just learning English anymore, you're becoming an English speaker. Let's look back for a second. You started by learning to listen. 10 minutes of podcasts a day, just catching the rhythm, not chasing perfection. Then you began to speak with your ears, repeating out loud, copying tone, feeling the flow. Next, you made English personal, writing one phrase a day, using it in real life, and letting it become part of your story. Then you created English moments in your day, thinking in English, narrating your morning, living inside the language. Finally, you recorded your voice, not to judge it, but to celebrate it. Each habit connects to the next, creating a loop. A simple, powerful confidence habit loop. You listen, you repeat, you write, you think, you reflect, and then you do it again. Every loop builds fluency quietly, naturally, like breathing. And here's the secret. Once you start, your confidence begins to grow on its own. Because every time you repeat, your voice gets stronger. And so does your belief in yourself. Every time you shadow, your English becomes smoother, your hesitation shorter, your tone more alive. Fluency isn't about knowing everything. It's about being brave enough to keep speaking anyway. Let me tell you what one of my students, Luis, said after 2 months of following these habits. I stopped waiting to feel confident before speaking. I started speaking, and that's when confidence came. That's the truth for every learner. Confidence doesn't arrive before you act. It's created by action. So here's your challenge. Choose one habit right now. Maybe it's listening to a podcast while you walk. Maybe it's shadowing. 1 minute of speech every morning. Maybe it's writing. 1 phrase before bed. Whatever it is, start small. But start today. Then do it for 7 days. Record your progress. You'll be amazed at what happens. Your ear will catch more. Your sentences will flow more easily. and your inner voice, the one that says, "I can't speak English," will start to disappear. Remember this: English doesn't grow from studying harder. It grows from showing up more often. And when you do, something beautiful happens. Your habits stop feeling like practice and start feeling like you, because you started this video as a learner. Now, you're someone who lives in English. So take a deep breath. Feel proud. You've built more than vocabulary. You've built a daily rhythm of confidence. Keep shadowing. Keep listening. Keep speaking until English feels like your second heartbeat. Natural, effortless, and alive. And I'll see you in the next story, where your English doesn't just sound better. It feels like home.